So I begin. I mean, this is a great character to play. I really like her sort of never say die attitude and sort of perseverance. Do you, when you play characters like this that have these quite positive traits, do you ever find that you kind of learn from them or like adopt parts of their personality?
I don't know. I kind of hope in the more ballsy characters I get to play that I get a bit more ballsy myself, you know. Yeah, I like to play people that kind of know what they're doing and, you know, are in charge, because I'm not necessarily like that privately.
Well, how's it working with George in this? I've sort of been, because I think we sort of came through at quite a similar time. I'm not as an actor, but in terms of as a journalist, and I've met him a few times over the years. I've been sort of paying close attention to his kind of career, and he's always just such a wonderful actor, and he chooses such great projects. So, what was he like as an on-screen son?
He was just a perfect on-screen son. I mean, he's just a lovely human. In fact, it was like a really lovely cast, I have to say. But I met George in Glasgow. He was up here for something else, and so we went for lunch, and we had a lovely couple of hours. Actually, he got locked in my bathroom. I remember we came back to my place for a cup of coffee, and I feel like I've just remembered that he got locked in my toilet. I bet he disappeared for quite a while. Yeah, so he's a lovely actor, and I've enjoyed watching him in different things. So it was nice to get to work with him. And then I actually thought we would have more scenes. I mean, I read the script and I thought we had more scenes together, but actually for most of the film, I'm looking for him. So
yeah, well, I'm interviewing him soon. I'll bring up the locked
bring up, because we were sitting out in the garden. It was a really nice day, I remember, and he came in to go to the bathroom and he took ages, and I was starting to get a bit worried.
So I think in this, obviously, she sort of loses her son. I don't just mean physically, but that kind of connection has sort of gone. She kind of struggles to find a way to understand him. Is that a sort of fair anxiety for parents? I'm not a parent, but even in like advance of having kids, I get worried about them going from being your sort of little baby to suddenly being like a young adult. And there's always that risk of losing touch with them into some degree.
I know what the person that you've known and loved becomes is. I mean, we're all changing all the time, and yeah, it's interesting though, and it's sort of, it's not scary and it's not worrying as they get older and become something else. It's just fascinating, you know. It's like who they're becoming. It's just endlessly interesting, I think.
And you sort of mentioned you're just not as quite similar to the character, but in terms of like relating to her, that kind of idea of being like that motherly love, that protecting your offspring at all costs and doing whatever it takes to kind of to ensure they're kind of happy and safe and everything like that. Is that a root into the character in this instance?
Yeah, I mean, it's I don't know about a root in. I just know that the writing was great, and I could get my head around it easily, you know. And I'm glad you got to see her at work as well. I loved Antonio as well, who played my patient. So that was a really nice day of filming. But it's like, she's not just the mum, like she's got a job and she's got her own, you know, backstory and struggle. This relationship with her son is not a happy one, and she's trying, you know, to get through it, and then he just suddenly disappears, and it's just awful and horrifying.
I really like Antonio as well. Yeah, I was pleased to see him in that scene with you. So nice, isn't he?
In Slow Horses, which I loved, and I could hang out with him endlessly. He's just really good company.
So when you see your character indulging in a bit of Bake Off during her evenings, what's your go-to comfort show at night when you've had a long day and you just want to come back and have some dinner? What do you stick on?
Well, I'm a big fan of the Great British Throwdown. Is it Pottery Throwdown? I love it. It's so dramatic, and that lovely judge in it that cries all the time. Like he's so emotional about pots, and I mean, he cries all the time, and it's like the handshake you get from what's his face on the bakery program, but it's just heartbreaking. It makes you cry too.
Do you have any kind of hobbies like that, like making pots or even baking for that matter? Outside.
Yeah, I do both. I'm kind of we were doing some pottery stuff last week. I was with the kids, we made some stuff. But yeah, I bake every week at least.
I was going to ask too, because you're working with the wonderful, brilliant Carol Morley. Is that right? I've got that.
Yes.
Because
she's wonderful and brilliant, isn't she?
I just think, I mean, it's not just her movies, but just as a person as well. I just love Carol.
She's magical. She's just a magical person. Yeah.
Has that happened yet? Have you guys started? Have you made that? Oh, it's all finished. Yeah. How? I mean, it sort of goes without saying, but how was your experience on that and working with her?
I could have made that film forever for the rest of my career. We could have just shot that film. I'd have been quite happy. Yeah, she's wonderful, and I got to work with Monica Dolan, who I'm such a fan of, and now she's my friend. I try not to sort of be a fangirl around her, but she's just incredible. So yeah, it was a good set to be on. A lot of great women.
Has it got to a sort of point in your career? It must be quite nice when you can be very picky and just want to work with people that really inspire you. Because I guess there is that thing at the beginning of any career where you kind of, it's a mixture of choosing really great projects, but also a bit of exposure and the whole like one for them, one for me stuff. But has it got to a point where you can just go, look, that I really want to work with this filmmaker and this actress or this actor sort of I've always admired, and it's being able to sort of pick and choose.
I haven't been that sort of deliberate about any of it. I just, I get sent things and they appeal or they don't, and then along the way I've managed to sort of accumulate these great experiences and work with these incredible filmmakers. So yeah, I just never know what the next thing's going to be. I mean, there's things that you sort of hear about and you think, oh, that would be really amazing. But, I feel like what's for you won't go by you.
So my final question, I was just wondering then if you've kind of, because I mean, obviously watching sort of Carol be brilliant at what she does, have you ever sort of given much thought or any ideas about doing anything behind the lens? Not necessarily directing, just kind of stepping into producing roles or any other sort of getting involved in that side of the industry.
Yeah, I'm sure it would be quite a natural progression. I read a lot, so I kind of stories interest me, but directing is not going to be a thing for me. I just know it.
So leave it to Carol. She does a great job of it anyway. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Kate. Much appreciated. And best luck with the release. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys.
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey